I used to ask myself, is it something the way I'm presenting? Maybe I'm presenting too arrogant. You know, my girlfriend says, you're a fucking arrogant cunt. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not arrogant. I'm just very firm with when I walk or when I'm speaking with something. And if I'm wrong, like you said, please tell me.
No, you got to be, it's not even confidence, but it's having conviction. Yeah? I like to have conviction on things that I'm educated on.
Yes.
If I feel passionate or strongly about something, I'll say it. Like, if you ask me for... I've had people say to me, oh, you're too full on. It's like, well, hang on, man. You ask me something like, what is the meaning of life? Do you want me to take, like, a half-assed approach answer to that? What's the point of the conversation, man? Dude, you know what's interesting? Dude, it was so weird that we're bringing this up. Like, when I went and saw my mum, right, I was showing her... I binged worked when I got back from overseas, like, binged work to try and catch up. And sort of went overboard and caught up on work for the next 4 weeks.
Damn.
So I'm like, I need some downtime because I'm fried. What can I do? And I was missing Greece, I'll be honest. So I put in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah, I never played it.
Nice.
I was 5 years old.
Nice.
I'm like, no, let's go, lose yourself in front of the TV for a couple of hours while playing something that's relevant to your culture. And I was playing it, and it was like nice just being in this mythological world, historically, la la la.
I love that game, by the way.
Oh, it's the best.
Played them all.
Dude, I played Origins and I'm playing Odyssey.
Oh, nice.
So I'm showing my mum because I found the mountain that sits opposite our village in Stymphalia in one of the cities, right? Outside of Corinth.
This guy's playing the game to go
I
find
found
his
it, bro.
child.
The level was way OP'd for me, but I'm like, nah, I got on a horse and just like...
You started going.
Yeah. Dude, animals were chasing me and I was like getting attacked. I'm like, no! So I just kept going just to see the view, to see if it actually existed. And they've done a really good representation of the area.
Wow.
So I was showing my mum, right? I sent it to her and she's like lost it. And then I said, oh, you got to see this game. So I found like just a gameplay walkthrough, free roam in the cities. And so you're, Alexios walking through the cities and it's ancient Greece, so there's people everywhere playing the instruments and dancing and praying and whatever. And I'm walking past some dudes that were just talking. And like you can hear the ancient Greek. And my mum's gone, that's what it was. Greeks were always like orators, you know what I mean? Like they'd sit there and just philosophize. I mean, philosophy came from ancient Greece.
Right.
For a reason. These people would literally sit around for hours, weeks, talking about anything.
I wonder if they were having frappes at that time.
Darts. You know what I mean? He's just one guy on the rollies, just wasting everyone's time. What are you doing, man? Go buy a pack for fuck's sakes. But it's taken long enough. Like, I'm going to wait for you to roll a smoke every time. That's it. But she said it. She's like, they're great orators. Like, they would just sit and talk and discuss the meaning of shit. And I like that. The fact that you sit there and have the discussion. It's not just throwaway. Like, why is this the way it is? Why is it? Some things you just take as a given, you know what I mean? But yeah, especially greater things. And that's why I take it back to conviction. You're not arrogant. It's not like, any of that, but you have purpose. Everything you're doing is purpose driven because there's greater plans like for all of it. Like you just mentioned, man, you're looking at like long term. When I asked you why you're getting your masters, I've had 3 people in the seat that you're sitting in the last year. All have said they want to do advanced education to get to masters. And I'm like, why? What is your goal? Because
the knowledge if they would probably say the same, their knowledge is already probably well deep into what they're going to learn already in the masters,
But it's always driven back to doing something greater because of the change thing. Do you know what I mean? Some people just want to do it to swing their dick and say, yeah, I've got a master's. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, mate, there are better ways to do that. Yeah. Get on OnlyFans. You know what I mean?
Man, you know what one of the trainees said the other day? I was on a work call. He goes, what did he say? He was something about, it's $8 for a Zinger box, but it's only $3 for a box on OnlyFans. I'm on this work call. My boss goes, huh? Sorry, this tradies outside. It's like, what is this tradie chatter?
Yeah, man. No, look, people said to me, why didn't you do a degree, this and that? I'm like, well, what was the point? I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have the quals to get into whatever I thought was needed. And I'm nowhere near like what I thought I was going to do when I was 18.
Right.
What did you think you were going to do when you were like 16, when you were going through high school?
Play professional basketball.
Legit.
For real.
That was ingrained in your head.
Ingrained.
Yeah.
This degree was paid by basketball.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like when I was 18, I went overseas to play college basketball. Went there, played, went to another school to finish his degree. Coach said, there's not enough money for your athletic program. So after he already fucking called me to come to that school.
Where were you?
Upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, upstate New York. And I knew I had to finish the degree. My mum was like, yo, you fucking went over there. We helped you, like, you know, paying for your food or paying for the things that school didn't pay for. Like, you got to finish it. I was like, all right. I want to just join the track team. And I did sprinting. I did sprinting for the last 2 years, man. And, like, they paid for a lot of my education. I was still playing basketball, like, on the off-season and doing runs with the guys. So, yeah. And now, man, like, weirdly, like, I sat in a place. I was telling my housemate the other day, man, like, these last 2 years, like, I'm so still driven by basketball where I still want to play at a high level. I'm coaching now. But sometimes, man, like, I just took a step back and I was just like, what, like, that whole part of the world or just becoming this athlete or becoming this figure, I just looked at it like there's so much external validation that is deep rooted in your success that is scary. You know, like a lot of people, like I love the game. A lot of people that are very successful in the game still love the game. But I bet you if you talk to them and there's ebbs and flows of like, when something doesn't go right, like all this, your world just becomes so much bigger and it's scary. You know what I mean? And it's actually not good for your mental health. You know, wanting somebody else's perspective, wanting this coach to be on your good side. And I was just like, you know what? I can fucking stick it. Or it'll all stick it.
Look, everything gets corrupted. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
everything. Even like you said, when you went into the institution, it's like, were your reports driven by external factors? Of course they were. 100%. Everything. Doesn't matter what you're doing. There's always going to be, and that's why it's hard to just stay like along the path. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to lose your way eventually somewhere. You end up somewhere else or you don't.
And if you have good grounding principles, they're going to bring you back to the, you know what I mean? Back to the path or good parents or good structures from a young age. Yeah.
Okay. So hang on. Out of all those inmates, right? I mean, going into the job you're in now, you said they're from families that have got support and all that, yeah? And there's...
Well, somewhat support, but yeah.
Somewhat support and there's hope for, like, you know, progress.
Yep.
Those inmates that you were dealing with, you're saying they're all from broken homes, essentially, or didn't have the support?
Yeah. One, not really, but that one was the most complex client ever. They're building a facility just for that client, and there's never been done in Australia.
What's this involve?
Barricaded doors, 24-hour care. The client is super strong, autism, cerebral palsy, and now trying to change genders.
Jesus. That's a whole kettle of fish, man.
Yeah.
If life wasn't hard enough, like...
And weirdly learnt through television.
What do you mean?
Like... Before, in his younger days, just was a normal kid, you know, battling his mental, like his IDs, his autism, cerebral palsy, but everything changed when he committed his offense, and then the TV that he watches, like, it's just always on. It's like he can flick through it, 7, 10, whatever it is. During COVID, that whole, you know, all this stuff you talked about before, you know, people sending you fake news, and then the pride wave came in, you know, and that weird theme got this person to kind of want to change their genders, even though they can't give consensual advice because they're so mentally impaired. Weirdly, clinicians have been helping the client transition. You know, we have to call the client her now. You know, like it's.
So saying this is learnt behaviour?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that, okay, maybe you don't want to answer this, but would you say that in the form of gender, because I mean you deal with psychology, right? And you deal with IDs and you deal with all that sort of stuff, so you're pretty tuned into human conditioning and, yeah, learned traits. Because you're saying a lot of these conditions, a lot of these crimes that have been committed, they're all learnt behavioural issues.
Behavioural issues that have stemmed from like a infant stage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, let me lie about a chocolate. Then you get into adolescence, maybe you're lying about wagging school or, you know, skipping classes. And then you get to adulthood. Then lying turns into, who knows, man, deep-rooted things, stealing, doing something against the law and maybe not saying something or doing something accidental. And it just keeps building. Habit by habit by habit by habit.
You're saying it was all learnt based on what they were watching with the whole
Yeah,
pride
and
movement.
also, man, the client was sexually abused when he was a kid. So the offense was it was a sexual assault charged. Yeah. So all that was learnt behaviour because it happened to the kid at a younger age, and now because they have the ID, this is their fixation. They are fixated on like BDSM, all that dark hole of pornography, you know what I mean? And violating people like that. Like that's the norm to them now.
And that's purely ID related, as in it's learnt.
It's learnt and it's fixated, right? They can't get out of their thoughts, or it's very hard for them to break those thoughts.
Can you say that it can be unlearnt? I mean, as a professional in the field, what do you do with a client at that point?
But something's always going to tick them, anger-wise. Like once you tick them, like once he snaps, he'll just start doing all this in front of you, and it's like something just clicks and they just go back to being like autopilot.
Again, it's eggshells. Like something could just go at any second.
Yeah.
So is it up to you to figure out what the triggers are?
Yeah.
And how to manage them?
And how to manage them and try to educate them or try to almost get them to that scenario again and help them make the different choice. Do you know what I mean? It's almost playing it pretty close to the vest.
Yeah.
The whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I'm just thinking like what your success rate would be. It's just joke.
Success rate, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, because use a coaster, dude. Don't put on your phone. There's coasters everywhere, bro.
Success rate, man. Like, I think when you're passionate about something this deep and the human mind and just the way what we have carried on, like the trauma that I've carried on from my parents, like when you're this interested, man, you're not actually looking for wins and losses. You know, you're just trying to understand or learn how deep is this shit in terms of behavior and trauma and what we've learned the shit that we can't remember from our childhood, we're exhibiting now.
Oh, I say it all the time, man.
Or shit my dad used to do that I didn't even know what he did, but now I'm probably exhibiting it.
Yeah, dude.
Or mental processes.
Things that I remember from as early back in my childhood, I know I had to unlearn. You know what I mean?
How did you do that?
First by identifying it.
Okay.
And that's through trial and error.
Okay.
I mean, I'm 39, in a month or two. So it's like after years of seeing exhibiting behavior, like, you know, why does it always end up like this? Why am I like this? Blah, 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 blah. You ask the question and it's like, all right, this has got to change. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to change. Like if I want to be part of society, if I don't want to be this person, then how do I get away from being this person? You know, why do I feel insecure all the time? Why do I feel like I'm isolated? Why do I feel this? Why do I feel that? Why am I not confident? Because, dickhead, like, go back and have a think. You were bullied in primary school. You know, you went through this in high school. You know, you came from a house that was like this. On and on it goes. So you start unraveling that fucking...
It's almost you're being groomed into this, becoming this...
Yeah. Involuntarily, you know.
Right.
Like, teachers, parents, they didn't mean for you to turn out like this, but everyone carries that... Carries generational trauma, and it keeps building up. My question is, do you reckon all generational trauma can be undone?
I don't think so, man.
So what do?
You do the best of your capabilities, and it goes back to what you were saying about Sikhism, like just do your best every day to serve somebody in whatever way. Like just serve your neighbor, serve your partner. And if we can do that every day for the rest of our lives, we would have come a long way instead of just being very narrow. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm getting what you're saying. I've said this multiple times, man, especially on this podcast. I think the refinement of character should be a priority for everyone, right? You're never set. You're never perfect.
But that in refinement of character, that aspect, because there's so many aspects, right? Yeah. And if we're doing all this inner work or doing all this unraveling and not actually being the best person of ourselves to the environment, we can do the work, right? We can do the work and we can journal and we can fucking meditate and all this extra shit. But if you're not, that best version of yourself isn't participating in your environment, you're actually depleting your environment.
Okay. Now, see, look, you're looking at macro right now, yeah? You're talking about that purpose of life shit.
Okay.
Right? This episode's called The Purpose of Life.
Oh, God, don't do it. My girlfriend will cringe at this one.
What is the meaning of life? Seriously. No, hang on. Wait a sec. Wait.
Oh, when she hears this. Oh, fuck.
All good. No, my point is this, yeah? Now you're talking about greater sense, greater purpose, greater being, right? You're coming from a theological point, as in there is a greater purpose. And I go back to the guy that just wants to wake up, get paid, come home. Yeah? Is there anything wrong with that? In your view?
In my view?
Yeah.
I do think so, yeah. Because you're not waking up with the intent to make a change or serve the person. You're just looking inward. How can I just exist?
But that's the point. That
the point is not
humans by nature are selfish, man.
Yeah, but
oh man, I'm gonna have the biggest fucking argument with you. This is gonna be the best.
Round
one, fight. You lose. Perfect.
I can't even throw punches. X.
Gonna be quick, bro. And we're done. Bye.
You lost. You lost.
100%. No. Because, look, what you're saying, I don't disagree with. Remember that, yeah?
I know.
Whether we disagree or agree on a theological sort of overall arcing scheme, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I feel that everyone should be purpose-driven.
Go ahead.
Not everyone has had the opportunity, like, say, you and me, to actually reflect on one's role.
Exactly.
And that's the point.
But that's our duty.
But
because there's survival people and then there's
most people don't give a shit, man.
Well, because they're still surviving.
Because they want... Dude, but that's the thing. I'm still surviving, right? I'm surviving.
You're doing better than surviving. You're talking to me on a podcast.
Yeah, no. But in my world, I'm surviving. Yeah? I still go day to day. I still live hand to mouth. Yeah? In what sense am I not surviving? I might not be on the street.
Yeah, but if you...
But everyone's... Okay, there's a Greek saying, right?
Okay.
There's a Greek phrase. It's o kathenas με το πόνο του. And that means every individual with their own pain, right? And their own suffering.
Okay.
Greeks are deep, bro. Yeah? Right? It's there's so many different fucking things I could say. But it just means like everyone with their own personal pain or problem or whatever. Yeah? And that's what I'm saying. Like... I might not understand. I might not expect individual A to understand what I'm going through. Like I might not expect what individual B is going through. But we both have our own struggle. We have our internal struggle, our own external struggle. My external struggle might not appear to be what it is to them because I have a roof over my head and blah blah blah. Granted, I take everything I have, all the blessings I have, all the opportunities I've created for myself. I fall back on them and I appreciate them. Whatever. At the same time, I know I still work 7 days a week. I know I work 16 hours a day to keep ends meeting or just keep my head above water. Granted, I could downsize. I could bring my quality of expectations of life down. Sure. I could live at a bus stop with a tarp over it and live like a king.
Wow.
A rat king.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't want that.
Right.
That's what you have a choice,
though.
We all have a choice. To a degree.
To a degree.
Sometimes we're restricted by the choices we make based on the environment that we've grown up in, based on the environment that's presented. Like, dude, you could have a guy, and this is an interesting thing, right? You could have a guy that did everything right, went to school, studied, did everything, but just got passed over every job that he ever applied for, turned down by every girl like that he ever asked out, all that crap.
All the superficial shit.
Wakes up at 35 thinking, I'm fucking miserable. I'm living in a shitty apartment with a shitty lower tier job. I've done everything right that I was ever told to do, and then just snaps and like throws himself off a bridge or shoots up a school. Mm-hmm. His responsibility, his choice, yeah? But therein lies the problem. Look at the environment that came before it. Do you know what I mean? It's far more complex than just A, B, and C. I know I'm talking to a dude with a psych degree about this.
No, bro. Trust me, man. Like that piece of paper actually doesn't. It doesn't put us in. You know what I mean? It just It just means we went to some classes and something we're interested about. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
I know people that got degrees that couldn't tell you shit about what they studied. Yeah, they just turned up. They turned up and they filled out the right forms.
I'm trying to answer your first question. Can you please repeat your first question?
What was my first question? No. Hang on. What I said was that, is it like, I totally agree about your thing about sense of purpose and, you know.
Everyone's purpose can be different, like individually. You can have your own purpose, but as a communal purpose.
Assuming that you want to live in a community, right? Some people don't recognize that.
But you're not going to thrive if you had a community.
Some people don't care to thrive. They don't care. They just want their base needs, right? Their Maslow's, take the Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
yeah,
all right?
On. Tell me.
Okay, take Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Okay, background on me, dude, I did HR right out of high school, yeah? Okay. So you had to learn about, the triangle. Yeah?
Yes.
Some people don't care. Like, as long as they're getting A, B, and C, they don't care to go spiritual. They don't care to go greater purpose. It's not in their scope of vision because they literally don't care about it.
I ponder the question, those people that are like that, and this is, once again, I'm pondering the question, I'm hypothesizing, right? I wonder if there's a deeper root, like there's a deeper issue in themselves, and they just don't feel like they're enough to produce something bigger.
I think you're an optimist, and I think you give too many people the benefit of the doubt. I used to think, okay, I'll give you an idea, right? When I was like 19, I was so driven in regards to like fighting the powers that be and changing shit and all that. And I did all that, right? As in, I did whatever I could in whatever medium. Then at one point I had burnout, right? And about 10 years ago, probably more now, 15, I sort of stopped. I'm like, man, I'm so far behind like where I want to be physically, mentally, like emotionally. So much damage has been done. PTSD's coming through. I need to start changing shit. I did a bit of work, but not much. Then it was probably like 5 years later when it was like another sort of, lightning bolt moment, and then probably about another 5 years later, right? And then here we are today. Okay. I used to think that everyone had it within themselves to not serve a purpose, but
to be better.
To be better.
Yeah.
But the more I realize it, especially getting older, because I'm 10 years older than you.
Yes, of course. This is why I really appreciate this conversation because hearing it from your end, because you're more closer to my parents, you know what I mean? So you're like, I say I'm half survival and I'm creative, but you are like even more than that. You know what I mean?
Dude.
You've lived in their lives a lot longer than what we are in.
Because you got to understand, like, I've got mates that have got kids that are like, in their teens, late teens. Like, you know what I mean? And it's interesting to see that now because, like, I've actually lived, like, I look back, I was saying this about Greece, because, like, when I went, a lot of my relatives, like my cousins and stuff, I've got nieces and nephews that are in their late teens now, mid to late teens. I first met them when they were kids, like babies or toddlers. So it's like, shit, this much time has passed. What have I actually learnt? What have I done? So you look at it from you take a step back and say, shit, this is where I was. This is where I am. Yeah. Now, I used to believe that everyone had the potential to be good or to be great or to do something positive. Or the desire. Somewhere innately in the human spirit. You can believe that people are generally good, but then there are people that don't care, right? You got your sociopaths, your narcissists, right?
Yes, of course.
But then you can take a step back and say, this arsehole doesn't care. He just doesn't care. Doesn't care.
But maybe they're so into their own lives on that survival basis that they can't even think. They don't have the mental capacity to zoom out.
I'll give you an example. I've got a mate. No, I'll take a step back. I know a guy, right? I know a guy. He laughs. All right.
Those conversations.
Yeah. I know a guy who is, probably 40 now. Yeah. Has never worked. He worked one job as far as I've ever known him. As far as I know, he's only ever worked maybe one job for a couple of years. Took the option out to get out of that job when an opportunity came for financial aid through the government, and has lived with his parents, has no aspiration to get a job, no aspiration for greater learning. When you talk to him, he's intelligent. He could sit here and have the same conversation with you and I right now about philosophy, social norms, all types of shit, yeah. But on a social level, as in like for himself, no desire to change anything. Okay? Fundamentally, yeah, you can blame a lot of his micro, and his macro. You can blame the environment that he's in, right? Typical European house, you know what I mean? Spoiled, mothered, all that sort of shit.
Right.
But at the same time, there was never that push, like, from him.
Oh, so he comes from a hard man.
Yeah.
So we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Dude, he just coasts. Just coasts. And doesn't care, man. Will never amount to shit.
I call him tumbleweed.
Yeah.
You know those Texas movies, how those tumbleweeds just roll?
Yeah.
That one.
Dude, 100%.
Wow.
Whereas, you know, and it's not about living at home with your parents or whatever. Like, sometimes it's either unavoidable or it just, you know.
It might be even a better financial move.
Yeah, maybe it's a better financial move.
Yeah.
Maybe it just suits you. Maybe you just enjoy it. Maybe you like living with family, right?
Well, yeah.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
But even people I know in those same situations have got purpose. They still get up. They go to work. They do A, B, and C to achieve D, E, and F.
So what are you saying? You're saying these people...
I'm saying there are people genuinely out there.
Are they choosing not to?
Choosing not to engage with greater community, choosing not to develop into anything more if their base needs are met. So as long as they're getting their food, as long as they're getting their shelter, as long as they're getting their video games or TV, as long as they can afford to buy smokes or fuel.
It's a very shallow life.
100%. I don't disagree. But to some people, that's all it has to be.
Maybe they've modeled this shallow life and that's all they know? What you don't know, right?
No, because I mean, they're looking at their friends and their family and they're all achieving success.
But they can't. They can't.
Whatever the definition of success is.
Well, yeah. Fuck. Well, yeah. 100% though.
It's in the eye of the beholder. The success is different for a lot of people, man.
What they probably don't feel like they can connect with what you're telling them in deeper concern or in certain level of depth because their life has been so superficial that that's their reality. It's almost like they don't want to break that.
Well, they don't care to break that.
Imagine if I told my mum the Pope is a pedophile. I mean, I have told her that, but if she, sorry,
the Pope, as in the current Pope?
just the background drama and the news you kind of uncover when you go down the rabbit hole.
So you're talking about Catholicism, or you're talking about fundamentalist organized religion? Because Catholicism and organized religion is a different conversation.
But they both have the same person in it.
Well, no, because take the Greek Orthodox Church. They go by the archdiocese in
Okay,
Greece.
That's fair.
They don't deal with the Pope.
That's fair.
They branched off from the Pope because they didn't want to deal with the Pope.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, just
go to the Mormons. Go to the Mormons in Utah that have polygamy and child rape and child brides. They're fundamentalist Christians.
Wow.
But they don't follow the Pope.
Whoa. Crazy.
Or go talk to the Latter-day Saints, another branch off of
another branch.
Yeah. Again,
if you break these realities, right? They don't have it in themselves or the capacity of their, cognitive bandwidth to take on the repercussions of like, oh my God, my life's been a lie.
Okay. It's amazing, like when you break it down, right? Like let's take organized religion and let's take like the big ones, yeah? How funny it is, or not funny, but it's interesting to see a guy comment on another sect or another branch of the same religion and call them nuts, yeah?
No, we're all nuts.
But that's what I mean.
But where everything has originated from, there's some purity in it. Okay. And that's what I seek.
So take it like this. I mean, you just said that your old man's a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Fuck, he's funny.
Is he Sunni? Is he Shia?
He's Shia.
Shia?
Yeah.
So is he for Ashura?
Sorry?
Ashura.
Yes.
Okay. To me, that concept makes no fucking sense.
Why?
Because they're self-flagellating.
In the way?
In the way. Dude, you see the videos coming from Pakistan and Karachi and shit.
Okay, so if my dad was here, he would be, you know what he would say?
You don't know what you're talking about.
No. He would say, like, there's certain people he would actually agree with you. He says there's certain people in these political parties inside religion that take shit and just run off with the fairies with it.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Ashura makes no sense to me.
Okay.
Right? And for people playing along at home that don't know what we're talking about, it's a ritual that stems from I
don't think my dad practiced. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
I'm just trying to.
You're trying to say the general.
Yeah, the general. It's based in remembrance of when who was killed. The imams.
You're telling me because I'm.
No, I'm serious. Fucking. I want to Google it, but it doesn't
Jamie,
matter.
pull it up, please.
Jamie, pull up Ashura.
That's a good one, fuck. That's a good one.
Hang on.
Hey, Jeremy, these guys are quoting you on this podcast.
Hang on, wait a second. Don't, man, don't.
Jeremy, you should fly out there.
Jamie, Ashura. Pick up Ashura. Here we go. Okay, so it was actually on 7th of July. Jesus, really? Okay, so it's celebrated. Sunni Muslims celebrate Ashura as the day that Allah split the Red Sea for Moses and his people.
You said that's Sunni people, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's Shia.
Yeah, so Shia is, hang on.
You said split the red what?
Yeah, it's, right, Shia, Ashura. Hang on. That was a Sunni definition. Hang on.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, so in contrast, for Shia Muslims, grab a water, dude. Or grab a Powerade, a Gatorade, whatever you want. No, I'm good, man. In contrast, okay, so Sunnis believe that Ashura is the day Allah split the Red Sea for Moses, all right? In contrast, for Shia Muslims, Ashura is a day of mourning commemorating the tragic anniversary of the killing of Imam Hussein, grandson of Prophet Muhammad, during the Battle of Karbala. Okay, and it was for an imam, like someone had died. And now the whole purpose of during the celebration of it in the day of mourning, they're self-flagellating. So you see videos, you just jump on Instagram, you can see it. Videos are like people in Pakistan and Afghanistan literally self-flagellating until they're bleeding and they're walking down the streets chanting, right? I asked years ago, I remember asking a mate of mine who was a Sunni Muslim, who was from Pakistan. I asked him about it and he's like, man, they're fucking nuts. Yeah. And I asked another dude, an Afghani guy that I know who's Sunni, and he's like, dude, Shia's ridiculous. He goes, by the laws of Allah, you're not meant to harm the body that you've been given.
100%.
So the idea
my father would tell you that.
Yeah, so the idea of self-flagellating
is contradictory to what you're practicing.
No sense.
Yeah.
At the same time, I use the same when I argue with, fundamentalist, conveniently, fashionably fundamentalist Christians when they start arguing about Christianity. I'm like, dude, you have tattoos all over your body. You've literally violated the temple that you've been given. That's a sin, man. Do you not read, but who follows that? I go, well, that's the point.
You're picking what you want to follow.
You're cherry picking, right? You're cherry picking your religion, right? It's not a la carte.
It's not a la carte.
And if you don't want to subscribe to your title, then don't. I'm not telling you to, but I have more respect for people that are devout as opposed to people that aren't.
It's a sense of belonging also, right?
Yeah, but again, it goes back to your conviction. Do you know what I mean? If you can just talk philosophically about stuff, by all means, go for it. But don't label it shit and expect to stray outside of the conventions of what that label is and still believe you can associate.
Right.
That's what I have a problem with.
Right. You pick the rules you want to follow, and then you hold these guys in contempt for...
If you told me you were a vegan, right...
Oh, God.
And you crack the sads every time I opened up a carton of milk or something, like, okay, but then if I see you eating a hamburger on the weekends, this is ground beef, it doesn't matter. Like, what do you mean, bro? I've heard these arguments before. You'd be so surprised, man.
Really?
I'm telling you. But again,
that's
weak-minded people that don't actually think outside the box.
Yeah.
It's all about labels and acceptance, like you said. Dude, there's so many people that used to jump on the straight edge bandwagon, draw the X on the top of the palms and...
Fucking what?
Straight edge.
What in 1945? What's this?
Late 90s, mid 2000s. Yeah.
What? Straight edge means what?
No, abstaining from booze, sex, drugs, like all that sort of shit.
Oh.
Yeah. That's where CM Punk came from. As in, that's what he prescribed to. The wrestler.
Fuck.
Yeah. He used to draw the X's on the back of his raps like it meant something. Like, dude, give me a break.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Anyway, look, we're straight off the top point. But I'm just saying like Ashura, yeah? You're a Shia Muslim, do you prescribe to that or not? And then that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, that's a total contradiction of what your fundamentalist creed is. It's an offshoot. Yeah? Like
I wonder where these offshoots came from.
Power.
Fuck, who put them in power?
General consensus, dude. If you do what I say, I can promise you this. So do what I say and I'll promise you this. At some point, someone delivered on the promise. Cool, I'll go with him. He seems to know what he's doing. But that's the point. And that, like you said, you turn this into a theological discussion about the greater good of every person and what they do. And I'm here to like sort of put up the, not theory, but just put up the idea that most people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're just good for, some people don't want to travel. I mean, you're well traveled, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So am I.
Yep.
Travel is the best form of education as far as I'm concerned.
And you find your real self.
Yeah.
Because you're in an environment that is unknown and you have to be at your highest.
100%.
Otherwise, you'll be, yeah.
Dude, I was in Morocco like 2 months ago. I'm going through the desert on a quaddie. And I'm staring around. I'm like, where the hell am I, man? This is a freaking Sahara, man.
What about my tires don't stop spinning?
And I kept thinking, dude, anything could happen right now. There could be a wave of bandits coming over the horizon. Who would ever see anything?
Yeah. And they're just watching.
Traveller went missing in North Africa. Like upturned quad, you know what I mean? Helmet in the sand. That's all it takes.
Left with the Instagram picture.
Yeah. Last selfie ever taken. Still like, but the phone was still playing this podcast, episode 57, from 4 years ago. But that's it. But that's what I mean. A lot of people don't even want to travel because they're happy with their macro and micro. They don't care. They don't want to care. They don't give a shit. And this is the thing.
Are they selfish? Are they so selfish that they're so in their world that
people are selfish by nature?
Well, it's good to be selfish. You need to be selfish to a certain degree.
End of the day, you're looking out for number one. And if you don't look after number one, no one else will.
Right.
You can't rely on the kindness of strangers forever.
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
And you need to be, like you said, you need to be well in your own mind in order to be
Just to be serving a community.
Exactly.
For sure.
Some people don't care or don't recognize to be part of a community. They don't give a shit. It's like, who are we to say they need to be, focused on the well-being of others?
Because they're depleting us if they're not. That's the crazy thing about it. And if we, you know what's funny? We have a tough time on calling people out on their shit or their...
Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? And we turn it into like, they feel like it's like this argument, but we're just telling you, like we tell a friend, so don't fuck up what we've just created. You fucking idiots.
I remember during lockdowns, every time like the Turks in the Broadie would start one of their little mini riots. Yeah, we're going to the streets, bro.
And do what, bro? Walk around and then what? Go home?
I got a mate of mine.
Not in Serbia where they're burning down buildings. They're actually about what they're talking about.
I still remember one of my mates reposting like a screenshot from one of those scenes, on the news, and it literally said, "This is why we can't have nice things." Yeah. It made me laugh. I'm like, so true, bro.
Lockdown was fucked up.
It wasn't done correctly.
Yes, that part. But, man, that was a whirlwind of emotions. And it's almost like people have almost forgot.
See,
because they just pushed the next.
But that's the point. That all the people that were up in arms during lockdowns because they couldn't go to the gym, couldn't do whatever they wanted to do, once it disappeared, that was it. I didn't see them protesting to get rid of the government after they were allowed to go back to gym and after they were allowed to leave their houses. If you honestly believe that this government's corrupt and it serves communist Russia,
well,
whatever your take is, right?
Yep.
Then why aren't they protesting every day?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I saw it because I live in South Bank. I'd walk down to get milk and I'd see teams of cops on mounted patrol. And
I was on Lonsdale Street.
Yeah,
near Men's Gallery.
Best place to be. I'm in lockdown, baby.
You locked me down.
Binoculars looking out the window. No, but see, that was my point. Like, so what happened to your convictions when you were locked down? When you were seemingly powerless? But what happened?
But maybe when you come, like, for example, man, like I definitely am guilty of going really down the rabbit hole in COVID, right? And it was a point where now I have to unfollow certain shit on social media because I'm done. Because once we're down there, you're down there.
But that's the point, man. You can, like, when your whole perspective is media driven and you're focusing on the narrative that seems to be the way it's going. Once your algorithm clicks and your algorithm says this guy's looking up conspiracy theories on Dan Andrews and Vladimir Putin, it's going to keep feeding you conspiracy theories from Vladimir Putin.
Mine was China, but hey.
Yeah, it's a communist regime.
Me and both, but...
Yeah, they're all Marxists, they're all communists. Like,
did you talk to during lockdown?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
As in, like, yeah, I did, but, like, not really.
Right, okay, fair.
But then, like, think of it like this. Like, that's the point. Andrew's government's still in power.
Yeah, that's good. But you know what the funny thing is? The mandatory vaccine has been dropped.
Yeah, because it's no longer a world
epidemic.
Yeah, it's been de-escalated.
That's crazy, isn't it? My mum had COVID last week.
Yeah, people are still getting COVID. I know someone that got COVID not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
I thought it flew away, to be honest. Thought they stopped.
Okay, look, in regards to the whole COVID thing, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't handled correctly. But I have to give world governments, not just our government, I have to give world governments some benefit of the doubt and some leeway because it was a pandemic no one had ever dealt with to that degree, that escalating that quickly. It's funny how...
What about the Spanish flu?
Spanish flu... And then how did they deal with it? Masks, isolation, same thing. They just didn't have the same vaccines then. What I had a problem with was that we put so much trust and faith in the government to deliver everything we delivered to this point. You know, all the food that comes in has to be tested, right? Yeah.
Huh?
Food that comes in from overseas, yeah?
What are they testing for?
You know, E. coli, whatever.
Fuck.
Yeah, everything's, especially Australia, our borders are so fucking secure.
Pretty strict.
If you have...
Because we can fuck up our ecosystem.
Our ecosystem. It's such a tinderbox. We can't allow for random shit. Dude, if you have a cedar leaf up your ass when you come through customs, they'll have you on the ground with like forceps and stirrups. You know what I mean?
4 gloves up your ass.
Oh, dude, every cavity. What else is he hiding?
Well, there's his balls.
Yeah. Our border patrol here is stringent as shit, right? So everything's so well monitored. And we're fine to trust the government up until this point. But then as soon as we impinge on people's personal freedoms, and I'm going to quote one of the boys that comes here often on the pod, and he says, Dim, at the end of the day, people don't like being told what to do. That's it. You can only be spoon-fed shit. Like smoking, right?
Yep.
You smoke, it's hazardous to your health. You see it in the packets. You see it in the advertising.
Oh, I don't smoke cigarettes. So.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just making a point.
Yeah,
right?
Sorry. My bad, Diff.
People that smoke.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, it's hazardous.
Yes.
It kills.
Yes.
We see all the clinical studies for the last 100 years, nearly 100 years of clinical studies that have literally said, Surgeon General says you shouldn't be fucking smoking. People still smoke.
After years of having ads to tell you to smoke.
I was old enough to remember when there was ads on TV for smoking.
How was that? Oh, well,
it was the mid-90s.
Okay, when you were watching that, were you like, oh, it's okay?
No, because my dad was anti-smoking.
Okay.
So he hated it.
Okay, he was like, this is just bullshit.
Yeah, and I remember like my uncle smoking, heavy full-time Greek, Greeks.
Of course.
And you'd be in a car with him and just like, and the whole car would stink. And I'm like, this is disgusting. Like, this is not a nice thing. And I always attributed to this isn't nice.
This is nice, yeah.
And that's what I mean. I remember when in the mid-90s when they cut advertising, like the Formula One cut advertising on the grid cars, you know, everything gone, billboards gone. I remember seeing Winfield Red cigarette advertisements. I remember in 2008, I went to Southeast Asia for the first time. And I think I was in Bali. No, not Bali, sorry. Jakarta, Indo. And I still remember seeing a billboard for smoking, like ciggies. And I'm like, wow, I haven't seen one of them in like 15 years.
Wow.
More, 95 to 08. Like, Jesus. Like,
fuck, I was born a year just before that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it like, Jesus Christ, like, that's tripping me out. There's a tourist moment. Like, take a photo of the billboard. Like, what are you doing? I remember the person I was with, like, what are you doing? Okay, I haven't seen a billboard for cigarettes in like, literally since I was 10.
That's crazy.
But that's my point. Government's still spoon-feeding people, and people are like, oh, that's why they tax cigarettes. It's a moneymaker. Yeah, but they're actively trying to get you to stop. They increase the price of the fucking ciggies to get you to stop. You're the idiot that's still paying for it.
Your addiction.
Who's the idiot? Like, who's the idiot?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
When I was in Greece, I got into a cab, and the cab, we were talking about life in general, and I said how expensive ciggies are in comparison to Greece. He goes, man, I wish they would do that here, man. It would force people to stop smoking. No one would pay for ciggies if it was...
Oh.
Yeah, there, dude, for €5, so like under $8, you can buy ciggies, you can buy a deck, you can buy a lighter, you can buy a bottle of water and get change.
Whoa.
Here, pack of ciggies is like nearly $50.
Whoa.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like...
That's crazy.
Like, yeah.
$50? Yeah.
If you go to a servo, pack of smokes is probably $40-50.
Fuck, man, that's a good meal at a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah, man. There's so many things you can pay for with that money. But I know people that smoke like a deck a day. So they're putting away, a couple $100 a week for darts.
Damn.
Makes no sense. Damn. How much money are you earning, bro? Like, I could never pay for that.
That's a haircut every day.
Get the fade
every day.
Just the fade edge stuff every day.
One day, one of these days.
Yeah, you'd have a barber. If you had money, you'd have a barber. Just
for sure.
On hand.
A barber and a PA. Fuck, I really want a PA.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just to get me to be a bit more organized with my time, on an hourly schedule.
Why do you reckon choose up all your hours? As in,
My-
where do you lose time?
Where I lose time, man, I would tell you, I've told my best friend this, is like, sometimes, my cognitive bandwidth in the morning is great, right? But then when it comes to the end of the day at work,
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm drained. Not drained, I'm drained with so much processing work that I've done during the early part of my day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
making executive function, making decisions. At the end of the day, I would like home. PA would be like, all right, the chef's cooked for you. These are your appointments for tomorrow. And this is, yeah, that's it.
A PA wouldn't organise your dinner. They'd have to pay for dinner if they
Yeah. Or like they would, maybe if you had a good PA, they might
Okay,
organise
so you
dinner.
just feel lethargic by the end of the day where you're just...
Not lethargic,
You're burnt
because I'm
out?
still out, because I'll get a workout in after work, or I'll go for a run, or do a practice on the mat. More like sitting behind a computer and trying to learn something. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that is tough for me at the end of the day.
Yeah, because you've spent the whole day processing numbers. And you just can't keep crunching.
Right.
buttons.
But is it possible, you think?
Okay, well, here's a question. How often do you smoke weed?
Every second day, sometimes every day. Sometimes I go,
What
when I
time do you
smoke it for 2
normally
weeks.
smoke weed?
Now, during the week, not really, man. Even after work, maybe after a workout. Maybe.
So, do you see what I'm saying?
Right. Nah.
What do you know about weed being, like, its functions?
Man, but I've abused weed before in my life where
Yeah, but-
I don't become a couch potato. When I smoke weed, I'm not
You don't have to be a couch potato, but weed is a depressant, so it slows down your function.
for sure, but my mental function, it kind of goes the other way. If we're going out and the guys are like partaking in shit that I don't want to, which I don't partake in,
Yeah.
I would smoke weed and I'll go out.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't party on weed.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you're saying my functioning goes low, but for me, like, I can smoke weed and then get into something. And sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, I probably shouldn't smoke weed, because I'll go on the fucking computer, go down the rabbit hole, go into the vinyl collection, or go down something that I'm just going to be locked in till 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, you're tunnel visioned into whatever you're focusing on.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't have a bad relationship, and I used to, and I've seen effects of how it still is with certain people in my life, and it's actually made me draw back heaps.
Oh, dude, I've lost so many people to substance abuse.
Do you know what I mean? And you know when you're seeing people lose it too, and it's like, damn, like, I can't even partake in this luxury with you anymore because I feel like I'm hindering your growth, essentially.
Okay.
Like, I would never roll a joint and tell we're going to go to smoke. His brain will start ticking. It's probably not best for him right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah, but that's because you're generally concerned for other people's well-being. A lot of people aren't. And that's what I'm saying, where your naivete is like amazing. It's surprising.
I'm still a virgin.
No, well, considering you've worked in institutions with like clinically diagnosed, and you still have hope that people can still function with A, B, and C, even though you know that there are people that won't ever. Does that make sense? It's amazing that you have such high hopes for just general society. Where
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
telling you-
sometimes I am naive, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I think no, I'm not talking down on you.
No, I know.
I'm just saying it's interesting because like I once had that optimism,
Right.
but life just grinds the shit out of you.
Grinds out of it,
Eventually,
yeah.
you either lose interest in finding other people's well-being because you're still struggling to find your own,
Right.
or you just come to realize that a lot of people just don't care, are selfish assholes, and they might be nice people, they might be completely balanced, functioning members of society, but just don't give a shit about anyone else. Period.
Do you think it is our role or our duty to change that as humans, as like serving our environment? Like, we have to pick up the pieces of the shit cunt that's at the back of the line?
Well, unfortunately, we live in a society where that is well maintained, and we're going to be forced to do that regardless.
Right.
That's why I pay that much tax to keep that shit cunt moving along, to the point where that shit cunt's quality of life is almost better than mine. Dude, during COVID, man, everyone that was at home, everyone that was a junkie on like benefits got double the payments for what? They had no other obligations, other than basic needs, right? It's not like they went out and started businesses and suddenly had overheads, whereas I, who do have businesses and overheads, didn't get any support whatsoever. That's unfortunately the society we live in. But I care enough about the dickhead, that needs help, or the person that can't work for themselves.
Right.
I want that. I want to live in a society where we're like that. But that's me.
What about if you could choose?
Choose what?
Say they tell you every pay you're going to get this much of tax, right? If they say you can choose, minimum say they're going to say mandatory 20% tax, right? The other 20% or the other 13%, you get to choose if you want to add it or not for these people. Would you do it?
I would expect it.
Expect it from?
I would expect to be able to put.
Okay.
I would expect a percentage of my tax to go towards, because I could be in that situation.
Would your 19-year-old self or 21-year-old self say the same thing, or are you saying that from a perspective of where you are now?
When I was 19, I'm just trying to think. 18, 19, I was still at TAFE. I was working part-time, and I was finishing up TAFE in like 6 months. Then I did like a gap year for about a year, and then I went back to school just before my 21st, right? It was frustrating because I couldn't I'll study and work at the same time because it's obviously capped. So I'd figured out going back to school, think, man, if I work these many hours, get this much, I'll study, loving life, I'll be fine. Then they're like, nah, can't earn that much money. You won't get study. I'm like, dude, how am I meant to survive, bro? Like, you told me, and the advice from Centrelink at the time was you should find a job that pays black. Okay, so you a government, and I said, you a government worker is advising me that it's in my best interest to find a black non-tax paying money off the records. Yeah. Okay, can I get that on record? No. I'm like, okay,
thanks.
Thanks
for telling me you're fucking me without fucking me.
Yeah. Literally, that's and I was like, well, what do I do? No, I'll study. Go work 25, 28 hours a week. Dude, I was turning up to my course, and I'd be in like my work gear, steel cap boots, ripped jeans, high vis, and they'd be I'd be sitting there trying to learn, and dude next to me was like, where did you just come from? Work. Oh, you're still working? I'm like, well, what are you doing? Oh, no, I took off. Like, I quit so I could do this course. I'm like, okay, bro.
Hard daddies.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But that's just the roll of the dice. Can I hate him on that? No. It's like generational wealth, yeah? Is it my fault your grandfather came here when he did and bought multiple houses? My grandfather never did.
Yeah.
My parents came.
Yeah, my granddad actually. With me, yeah.
But that's what I mean. You can't hate someone for generational wealth because I'm trying to set that up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think are we coming from a place? I don't think we're.
No, but that's the point.
Right.
You can turn around and hate on someone for generational wealth because this guy's spoiled, this guy's rich, he's had everything handed to him. It's like, dude, it's just generational wealth. He has to maintain it at some point, otherwise he loses it.
Yeah, well, that's where the man comes in, right? So when say you're passed down generational wealth, that person has to pick up the discipline and the morals of the person that created it.
Yeah, or adjust to survive in the current environment. Dude, Jackie Chan said that about his wealth, yeah? Jackie Chan said he's leaving fuck all to his kid. Because he's like, if I give him my fortune, if they haven't got the brains to develop their own something, they're not going to have the discipline to do anything with my fortune. So what good is it going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah?
Shaq tells his kids, it's my fucking money, not your money.
I work hard for this money.
Stay in school.
I work in Miami. I went to the other Lakers. I work with Beanie.
That's got to be the funniest.
So to go for yourself.
What's that video is got to be? The Charles Barkley one kills me.
That's like, terrible, man.
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Man, you're about your mind.
He's juggling spit in his mouth.
How is he a presenter? How is Shaq and Sir Charles, like, how are they presenters on TV?
They are like the face of like Shaq's face of TAB here.
Yeah. Sports
something, something betting. I wouldn't know because I suck at betting.
But that's the thing; they're just larger than life caricatures themselves.
Yeah,
now. But they leaned in on it. They didn't back away from it. They just leaned in.
Oh, you want to mimic my fucking voice or the way I speak? Here, pay me a meal for it.
But that's the point. They stayed true to who they were, and they made it. It can go south. It can go either which way. Yeah.